Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 305 of the MTGGoldfish podcast. I'm Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and we have the full crew here this week, kicking things off with the owner of MTGGoldfish, Richard. How's it going this week, Richard?
Hey Seth, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am doing well. It was a pretty good holiday weekend of not doing a whole lot because we're still in a pandemic. But I got to catch up with some family over Zoom and stuff, so that was kind of cool. But before we get into all that stuff, we have another co-host in Krim. What's up this fine Monday, Krim?
Not much actually. Kind of which is a good thing. After last week, I had a pretty busy week, so now it's good to start a new week on a more chill note.
Yeah, I think chilling out a little bit every once in a while is a good thing. So today for our cast, we don't have any super big topics. We wanted to talk about more Secret Lair drops. Today, actually, is the start of the Secret Lair-versary, or whatever they're calling it. The Secret Lair anniversary. We got 5 new drops going on sale for today. We didn't really get to talk about them last week, so we wanted to talk about the new Secret Lair drops. Maybe a little bit about foil curling has become a popular topic again, in part because there's a bunch of foil Secret Lair drops, in part because people apparently are having some issues with Commander Legends. And then, I've been working on a list of all the Magic products that have been released in the year of 2020, and it's pretty long and interesting, so we might hit on that a little bit at the end of the cast as well, before answering your fish mail. So that is the overview for today. Before we get into it, a reminder that our show today is brought to you by Card Conduit. And if you've ever tried to buy list your Magic cards, oh my god, is it a lot of work. So much sorting and typing and shipping. Not actually all that much fun for most people, but Card Conduit, they're the easiest way to sell your Magic cards. You can avoid all of those hassles, all of that time, and just send your card to Card Conduit, a new service from the folks at Card Hoarder, and they will sort and grade and sell your Magic cards for you. And once your shipment is processed, you get the proceeds minus their fee. And right now you can get a 10% discount by going to cardconduit.com/goldfish. So thank you to Card Conduit for supporting the show today. And let's talk some Secret Lair drops. Richard, we got 5 new drops going for sale today. You want to walk us through the Secret Lair drops and we can talk about them?
All right. How much money do you guys have? So let's start off. Number 1. So they all go on sale starting literally as of now when we're recording. So when you hear this, they're already on sale.
Yep.
So first up, we hope you like Squirrels. This drop comes with 6 cards for $40. Squirrel Mob, Squirrel Wrangler, Crows and Beast, Swarm Yard, Chatter of the Squirrel, and a Squirrel token. So that's our first one. Only available in foil. The art, how would you describe this art? A lot of cute and fluffy squirrels, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
they lived up to the name.
All right. Yeah. Next up, we have Party Hard, Shred Harder for $30, 5 cards, only in non-foil. We have Assassin's Trophy, some card I can't read. Hold on. Anguished Unmaking, Decimate. Oh dear.
Dreadbore. Dreadbore is a hidden card.
Dreadbore. What's this other card? I can't even read it.
Oh, Thraximundar.
Oh, Thraximundar. Yeah. Okay, and in case you're wondering why I'm having so much trouble, these cards do not look like Magic cards whatsoever. So you can check them out. They are like...
They're death metal t-shirt font. Well, actually, no. They're more legible, believe it or not, than the death metal t-shirt
it's like
fonts.
a concert poster. It's exactly like a death. If you're gonna see a death metal concert poster like hanging up at some venue or something, it's exactly that style of art, I think.
So we'll come back and touch upon this particular drop in a bit, but let's finish the other drops. We have Happy Little Gathering. This is the Bob Ross drop, available in foil for $40, non-foil for $30, featuring 10 basics, 2 of each color from Bob Ross paintings. This will be the first Secret Lair I will ever buy. Probably the last. Next up, we have another artist Secret Lair. We have the Seb McKinnon series. 4 cards, $30 non-foil, $40 foil. Comes with Soul of Temptation, Enchanted Evening, Damnation, and a full art swamp. Last drop, or I guess second last drop, we have a box of rocks, 5 cards at $30 non-foil, $40 for the foil version. They're your Commander staple rocks: Commander Sphere, Gilded Lotus, Arcane Signet, Chromatic Lantern, Darksteel Ingot, in a very unique style.
I love this.
It's very
artwork.
like colorful and pastel-y. Yeah.
And then finally, we have the Super Drop Super Bundle, where you can get like all of them for foil. They have the foil version, the non-foil version. Wait, what's the difference between the bundle and the Foils Forever bundle?
So there are 4 drops that are non-foil. There's 4 drops that are foil, because there's the metal one does not come in foil, and the squirrel one does not come in non-foil. So you can buy all the foil drops, all the non-foil drops, or 8 total drops for the foils, for the non-foils with the super bundle.
So all of them, so all 8 drops, $230. The foils only drop $140. The non-foils, $100.
And we don't know what surprises might be in store. It seems like so far, I think every Secret Lair drop has had, I don't know, white bordered Tibalt, stained glass Planeswalker. So there's probably a decent chance that they got something sweet that we don't know about in these drops. But I don't know. Yeah, you just got to wait and see for the most part.
Yeah. And these come out in March, according to the website. So you order now, and then they release in March. So
they're doing a new method, right, on how you order this too?
Yeah, there's a bit of an improvement where before you'd order and pay, and then your drop would just get shipped at some point in the future. Now you order, but you actually don't pay until they're ready to ship, which I think is a pretty nice bonus for consumers. I guess one of the issues people had is like with the old system, it was outside the window for like getting a refund essentially, because it had been so long since you paid. So if you did have some horrible problem with your Secret Lair drop, you couldn't really get your money back. But with the new system, a little bit more consumer friendly, I think that should help with stuff like that if it does come up.
I'm almost positive the old system was illegal somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that's why they fixed it. Like certain countries or certain locations or states or something, like you can't just charge people without shipping, or there's like a minimum time delay. But yeah, the new system, a lot more friendly.
What do you mean? They sold you download codes that you also couldn't get till
all right,
so.
let's go talk about the drops. Squirrels, $40, 5 squirrels. What do you guys think? Blackboarded squirrels, by the way.
I'm passing.
I'm passing
on
this.
Squirrels.
Is the one I'm personally least interested in, although I was actually surprised how expensive some of those cards were. I was like doing a little finance write-up about the Secret Lair drops, and I was expecting to be like, wow, this has like no value, but Swarm Yard is like a $20 card now. Squirrel Mob is like a $10 card, so it actually is not as bad value as I thought. I'm glad the drop exists, because I know Squirrels have this like big cult following in the Magic world, so I know there's going to be people that this is like their all-time favorite drop and they're going to love it. I'm just not one of those people. This one's not for me, but I'm glad it's out there for Squirrel fans.
Yeah. I think there actually is I know 2 people who are going to love this personally in my life, and I'm very happy for them. But I myself am just going to pass on these squirrels. I'd rather not.
Squirrel Tribal Commander Clash Richard with the alt art.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Richard drop to me, sort of. A little bit.
It does. It really does.
Squirrels are too popular to be to be wrapped on Commander Clash. They're too mainstream.
I get it.
All right. Party Hard, Shred Harder. I think probably the most controversial here, because the art is just so different. What do you guys think?
Controversial? I didn't even know this card was controversial, or this drop was controversial.
So the upside is they're super unique and super cool, right? The downside is they don't look like Magic cards at all, and they're hard to read. Right?
I mean, let's be honest here. I don't read my cards anyways, so that's all. You know what I mean? It's not like I need to read them anyways. But I will tell you that this is my favorite drop. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Seb McKinnon, it's really hard to beat that drop, but like, I love this artwork. I love this font. I love everything about it, because I'm a fan of like this style of, first off, I like some music that kind of this originates from the posters and whatnot. And like, I think it's kind of perfectly lining up like with the trend of my purchases this year, because I got two Animal Crossing shirts that are also in death metal font. And like, so why not also add a bunch of Magic cards to follow, right? So I am on board with everything here. The way Thraxamundar looks, like, this actually works out perfectly because Thraxamundar was my first commander. So, I am beyond thrilled that now Thraxamundar comes back with a metal looking version.
Boy. So I'm right in the middle on this one. I think I really like the art, and I think it's really cool. And I will play it. Like, I will put these cards in my decks because I like how they look. At the same time, I do have a bit of a concern that I don't know, can you go too far with Secret Lairs and stray too far away from looking like Magic cards where it'll end up adding confusion or maybe be a negative in some way? So I do see where you're going with it, Richard, because these are, out of all the Secret Lairs, maybe out of any Magic card that has ever been printed, these look the least like a Magic card to me. Like, if it didn't have the Magic card back, you wouldn't know really that it was a Magic card. So I could...
these look like proxies.
They do look like someone's like cool altars or something that someone made. So I don't know. I like them and I think the art's cool. Although it was pretty jarring when I first saw them. I was just like, wow, that does not look like a Magic card.
I did think they were, I thought they were fake like at first, right? I was like, oh, well, these are really cool. And it turns out they were real. So I was like, oh, I jumped out of my chair with that. So like I definitely, like it is definitely something that when I look at it and I, like knowing Magic and whatnot and looking at it, it just feels weird to see at first. But then I sat down and she's like, this is everything I needed in Magic. This is easily my favorite Secret Lair drop that has ever come out.
So I really like this art. I wish they actually just sold posters. If they sold posters of these cards, I'm more likely to buy them than the actual cards themselves. But I think, like, it's okay given our ecosystem of cards. It's down the line when you have 60 cards that all look different. What happens to your deck? Like, if I put like an Exploding Kittens card in my deck, will you even recognize it? Right? Like, I have like a Yu-Gi-Oh card in there. When the decks are so not homogenous, like, is it playable anymore? I'm not sure, but like in an absolute sense, is this any worse than Amonkhet Invocations? Those things weren't legible, like, whatsoever.
No, this is better.
And they were ugly too, so at least these look good.
Whoa. The invocations. Wait, we're not talking about the art. We're talking about the border.
It's
right?
so gaudy. It's so over the top and gaudy. Yeah, that's my least favorite.
It's just over the top in a way that you don't like. These are over the top too, but I think everyone just likes this aesthetic. Or like the black Comic-Con Planeswalkers, like the original couple series. Yeah. Those were pretty out there. So I don't think, and in terms of readability for new players, is this any worse than textless full art cards? Probably not.
And I think in person you might be able to read them. Like, if you can actually like pick it up, it does have all the text on the cards. It's written in like a unique metal-y font, but I bet in person you could pick up the card and like read what it does pretty easily.
I can't wait to see these in person.
It's weird that they're not available in foil.
Yeah.
That might be, I don't know. Like, yeah, that is kind of weird because, so what I went ahead and did was I got the non-foil bundle and then an additional Party Hard Shred Hard.
Don't you need four so you have a playset, Graham?
But he never plays four of the same.
No, Seth, please. Richard knows this. I mix and match all my cards. Plus I'm mostly going to play these in Commander, right? But on top of that, mixing and matching.
All right. Next up, Happy Little Gathering, Bob Ross lands.
Yeah, I mean, this is the drop that's making me buy Secret Lairs. I have always liked Bob Ross and Bob Ross art and just like, I don't know, his attitude and persona. He just seemed like a really cool guy. So this is the one I'm definitely getting. I probably will just get the non-foil bundle because it's a better deal. You get a bit of a discount. And I do want like the metal art stuff too. So I think I'll just get the bundle, but this is the drop that is finally, after an entire year of Secret Lair drops, first time I bought a Secret Lair, and it's going to be specifically to get the Bob Ross lands.
That does make me like chuckle. I like that. Bob Ross is it's like what broke Seth.
I'm with you. I'm buying them. How about we have a stream party where we try to paint the Bob Ross lands?
Well, maybe that'll be a new YouTube series.
Man.
We can try to do our interpretations of it. Yeah, that would be good.
Please no.
I'll get my palette knife ready. My titanium white.
I am a very bad visual artist. Like you saw, if you've been around the YouTube channel for a long time, you might remember the era where I made my own thumbnails. You can go back and look to like 2016 YouTube videos, and you will see my my artistic skills, quote unquote, on display. So
it's okay. You have Bob Ross guiding you. All right. Okay. Seb McKinnon series headlined by Damnation.
Yes. And Enchanted Evening, right? I mean, these cards are actually pretty expensive. Damnation went back up to like $40 at a point. Enchanted Evening was like sitting around like 20 to 30. So like, I love this drop. On top of that, like just from like a commander perspective, obviously, and then there's the art. That Enchanted Evening art is so cool, and Damnation is amazing. And Sower of Temptation, that swamp, yeah, like I had to get this. I had to get this no matter what. I mean, I didn't think the drops could get better. Obviously, I still love the metal one, but like this is just an amazing drop.
Yeah, I mean, Seb is probably the most popular current artist in Magic, I would say at this point, and he definitely nailed it with all the art on these pieces. So that's like one reason to get it. You get really sweet, unique art, new art from Seb McKinnon. The other thing is this drop is the one that I think is just like a slam dunk from a value perspective. Like you said, Damnation, I think the cheapest version right now is $40. You can buy this drop for $30. So if you need a Damnation for your commander deck or something, this is actually a meaningful discount to not only get a Damnation, but get a really sweet version of Damnation. And long term, I bet that swamp is going to be absurdly expensive. Like, I think don't sleep on the swamp. I would not be surprised if people are going to like be spending $10, $15 for that swamp, in the not super distant future, because people are going to want to have like a mono black deck that has all the Seb swamp, and you only get one in the drop. So I think this swamp is like sneaky value in this drop that people are probably going to forget about, but don't sleep on it because that swamp is going to cost a lot of money eventually.
Swamp is the best card. I would seriously just buy this drop for the swamp. The Damnation is too much for me. Like, I like the classic, like, Black Moon. This one is, like, terrifying. Like, have you looked at the art? I'm like, I don't want to look at this. It's, like, too much for me. Like, just give me the nice, peaceful Black Moon and destroy all creatures. This one is, like, nightmare fuel.
I think I like Nightmare Fuel Damnation the most. This is... I didn't think there would be a Damnation I'd enjoy more than Nicol Bolas's from Amonkhet. Like, art-wise. So like this artwork is gorgeous, and I am a huge fan of it. And like, that Enchanted Evening, once again, like I cannot tell you how beautiful that fairy is. So I love that fairy in the background.
All right. Box of Rocks. Do you need to build a commander deck?
I mean,
even if you do, like, this is the one where, okay, so it's part of the non-foil bundle, so I guess I'm just getting one anyways, but like, the thing here is I think the Arcane Signet is the only one that I care about. The rest, like I kind of wish this was like all signets.
Ooh.
Instead, if this were like signets, this would have been better. Even talismans, right? Because the blue-white talisman's like $10, and so if they were talismans, if they were signets, all of them would be just.
But all of these go into every deck color. If you bought a box of talismans or a box of signets, you only use like one of those cards.
I mean, just put a Skyclave relic. Then. I mean, that's better than like, you know what I mean? Like some like Commander Sphere. I mean, it is like a staple when you think about it, right?
It's just
like
everyone has one
in that, or it's everyone has one. It's a classic, sure. Chromatic Lantern, sure. Like, these are cards that I think that a lot of people are gonna just that, yeah, like you mentioned, they can be played in every deck. But I think signets or talismans would have just been cooler. Just saying.
Yeah, I think this is one of the drops where it's good news and bad news. So, like, the good news is the art's really sweet. The good news is these are legitimate Commander staples. I actually, like, looked it up on EDH Rec, and every one of these cards is in the top 20 most played colorless cards in the format, including, like, Arcade Signets, I think 2 or 3 right now, behind Soul Ring, maybe. So these are, like, legitimate Commander staples. On the other hand, the bad news is they're not all that valuable. If you just want a copy of each of these cards, you can get it for like $12 maybe. Like, none of these cards are high value, so you're definitely paying a premium to get the art. The other thing that's kind of bad news is I just saw a Command Zone video when they were talking about like cards you shouldn't play anymore or whatever. It was called something along those lines. And one of the things they went into kind of at depth was playing mana ramp that costs more than 2 mana, and they specifically called out like Chromatic Lantern, Commander Sphere, Gilded Lotus. Like, they listed off all these cards as like, you probably shouldn't even play them. Like, play 2 mana rocks instead. Like, these cards used to be good enough, but we have so many 2 mana rocks now that you just don't really need these anymore. So will they remain Commander staples in a world where we're getting Arcane Signets and Jeweled Lotuses and all these new mana rock ram spells? We'll see. So I think you get it for the art, and that's the big draw for this drop, not the value or any other aspect of it.
Yeah, the value is not worth here. The art is all you're getting. And I agree with that. I mean, I like the art, so I don't hate having a set of these, but like, will I play them? Probably not. I mean, Arcane Signet, yes.
I mean, I guess the other good news is we've seen drops in the past. I think the cat drop comes to mind. When the cat drop came out, I added it up and I was like, good lord, this value is horrible. Like, you can buy all these cats for like $10. And then that actually ended up being one of the most expensive drops, partly because cats are really popular and partly because people like playing cat commander decks and they're willing to pay a premium to get their Quisali Singer or whatever slinger from the Secret Lair drop. They'll pay $12 for that version when you can get a 50-cent version. So maybe these will end up being somewhat expensive just because Commander players like their unique printings of things. So maybe they'll end up being a lot more value-wise than their original printings.
All right. So we know Krim bought everything.
Not everything. I didn't get Squirrels.
That's correct. You bought the non-foil bundle. And I guess Squirrels is the only foil-only bundle, right? Yeah. So Squirrels is foil-only. Party Hard is non-foil only. Everything else is available in both.
Yeah, I think I'm with Krim on this one. I think I'm going with the non-foil bundle. Mostly because I want the Bob Ross lands, but you do get like a $20 discount, I think, by getting the bundles. So I want the other stuff enough, especially the metal stuff, but to a lesser extent, Box of Rocks, I guess. I want the Seb McKinnon drop because Damnation's good value in the art suite. So there's enough stuff I want that I think it's worth splurging on the $100 price to get 4 drops rather than just getting Bob Ross for $30.
Right. And I mean, like, when Damnation's already $40 and you know, Enchanted Evening, as I said, is like another $20. Like, we're already almost there, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's
at the $100 mark.
That's kind of what I figure. Like, even if, I don't know, I end up maybe trading away the Damnation eventually or something, it would still be worth it to pay more for the, you know, for the bundle than to get them individually and miss out on like the Damnation and so forth. So I'm not saying I will trade it away, but if I do,
well, just in case you ever forget, like, you know, our commander pacts, I'm just everyone has this podcast. Hey, Seth, I'd like to claim that Damnation here on this podcast. There's no way you can forget now. It is here.
If I hook you up with the Damnation, are we even finally for whatever I did to you that I forgot about 6 months ago?
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. I think that's it. The only other thing people are concerned about is the foils and potential curling. Seth, can you fill us in on foil curling?
Yeah, so there's been a bunch of Reddit posts recently, specifically about Commander Legends. Apparently a lot of people are having their Commander Legends foils curl a bit. I actually got a few random packs of Commander Legend, and I went and checked my foils, and they're getting a little bit curly. I just had them sitting out on a table for like, I don't know, a week maybe since I bought them, and they're starting to curl a little bit. So that's been a concern, and that has led to some people saying, you shouldn't get the foil Secret Lairs. Like, if you want to get the Secret Lair drop, get the non-foil version specifically to avoid the possibility of your cards curling. However, I was asking Krim about that. You've gotten some foil Secret Lairs in the past. How have your foils been?
So every one of my foils aren't curled right now. So like because I have the rat one in foil. None of those are curled. Those ones are sitting in my binder. Then I have the ones in my deck, which is the stargazing ones. Those haven't curled. So, and I've got like pretty much a decent amount of Secret Lairs in foil with like example, like the Walking Ballista one, you know, the Planeswalkers one, the Bird one, you know, stuff like that. And all of them are still good for me right now. Now, the issue is my foil, the stained glass Planeswalkers. Those ones curled super bad. Like it's like a Pringle. So, and I haven't even done anything with them. So I can't speak to Commander Legends. I don't know like how their foiling is, but at least the past Secret Lairs are still good for me. The Commander Legends ones, like, I don't know. I mean, I have some of the etched foils. Those aren't bad yet. So I don't know. Like, we'll see as things progress.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good news that some of those drops you mentioned, like the Year of the Rat or whatever, Stargazing, those were almost a year old now. So you've had those a while and they're apparently still in good shape. So that is some good news, although it is troubling that probably the most exciting cards, maybe, the Stained Glass Planeswalkers are pringling up. Richard, is it a reason to not buy foil Secret Lair drops? You were talking about getting the Bob Ross lands. Does the potential for foil curling play into your decision whether you get foil or non-foil?
I never get foils. There's just so much headache with foils. There is the curling potential. There is the getting DQ'd from any sanctioned event potential.
Oh, you don't got to worry about that anymore. I mean, there's no paper events.
So. And I just don't like them. Like I feel like the from the vault style foiling where they foil kind of the whole card just doesn't look good. The main set foiling where they specifically highlight specific parts of the art and things like that. I think that's okay, but it's nothing to write home about. Like I don't know. It's just not worth the money. Plus all of these headaches or potential headaches. I always just go basic non-foil version. Then I don't have to worry about the thickness of my cards or if, you know, they have like lightning bolts foiled or something, I get DQ'd. Like none of this, right? Just give me non-foils and we'll call it a day.
I mean, I'm mostly the same way. Like, I just don't really care about foils, so I will get the non-foil versions just because I like them better than the foil versions. I do think it's worth considering, though, because we've had so many issues with foils curling for such a long time now that I don't know. I would be a little extra skeptical of buying foils just because you know that's a risk. And even when it gets like better for a set or two, you never really know when a future set will crop up and it'll be curly again. And we haven't really figured out the pattern of it or why it keeps happening. So I would, even if I liked foils, I would probably trend towards getting the non-foils just as like an extra little bit of safety because I don't want Pringled foils.
Wait till you get the Pringles Secret Lair drop from.
Yeah. Oh. And then I can just see where that's the one that is perfect
Wizards
after foil.
Wizards will never do this because it would be too self-deprecating for their humor, I think. But that would be the perfect April Fool's Secret Lair drop for next year. Like, do a Pringles drop and have them be curled and just kind of like make fun of themselves a little bit for the foil curling problem. That would be so great.
But I could also see the person genuinely buying it and then complaining that it's curled. Like fully going into it knowing that it's curled.
All right, so we've been talking about Secret Lairs for a while. One other thing I wanted to hit on briefly was 2020 Magic products. So I've been thinking about doing an article about the products and the cost of them that have come out this year. So I've been researching a little bit. Do you guys have any idea just how many products were printed this year? So by my count, we have 4 standard sets. We have 4 other booster sets, mystery boosters, Commander Legends, double masters, Jumpstart. We have a bunch of booster sets, like Challenger decks, Commander decks, Unsanctioned, Planeswalker decks. And then we have, I believe, 26 Secret Lair drops this year, counting the new ones. That is... I mean, we're pushing 50, 60 different Magic products released in a single year. If you think that a year only has 12 months, you're talking about, an average of 4+ products released a month? And obviously, not everything's for everyone. We were just talking about it with Secret Lairs. I don't care about the Squirrel drop. Other people will. So it's not that you gotta buy all these products, but that is a pretty staggering number. So what do you guys think about just the pure massive products released in the past year?
26 Secret Lairs.
I mean,
that's one every 2 weeks, right? Like,
yeah.
I didn't even know there were 26 Secret Lairs, to be honest with you. I thought there's maybe 12 or so, but yeah, it makes sense. 26, huh?
I mean, I think it's partly because they come in bundles for the most part. So when they do a Secret Lair drop, a lot of times we have had some individual drops, but we've also had like the Theros Stargazing. There were like 5 different drops, but you could also buy in a bundle. We had the Summer Super Drop or whatever, which was I think 7 drops that all went up in a week's time. So they do usually release a bunch of them at once. I think Secret Lairs are one thing, and I've kind of come around on being okay with Secret Lairs when last year at this time I was really skeptical. Maybe it's partly because we've also haven't really had paper Magic, so the concerns about hurting local game stores haven't been as big of an immediate issue because we've had so many like stores closed and haven't had paper tournaments anyway. So we'll see what happens in the future when stores start adding up. I think maybe more shocking to me is we had 8 big set releases. Like, this is even counting, like, all the precons and stuff, but 4 standard sets and then 4 more major supplemental sets. I guess you could argue that Mystery Boosters isn't that major, but Jumpstart, Double Masters, Commander Legends, those are all definitely big booster releases. That means in the past year, that's 8. That's almost 75% of the time, 2/3 of the month of the year are having a big booster set release. That is a lot. Like, that is way more than we've ever had before. Is there any concern about it going just too far? Kind of like we talked about with the art of the metal drop. Is there any concern that this is just too many products, or are they all specialized enough where you just ignore the stuff you don't want? If you don't like squirrels, you forget that they actually exist and focus in on what you do want.
I'm in the camp of they are different enough or specialized enough to where I just don't care about some of it. Like, I didn't pick up any of the new Commander, pre-made Commander decks. I mean, I did from like the 2020 cycle, but like example how Ikoria had some, and then BFZ, or not BFZ, Zendikar Rising had the Rogues one, those precons. Like, I didn't pick up any of the ones that weren't the Rogue ones, right? So, the only thing that I mostly cared about this year and picked up was, I guess, Secret Lairs and the Commander Legends product. I guess Zendikar singles, but like sealed product, Commander Legends is the only thing I really picked up. That and Secret Lairs.
Yeah, I do think these products are cannibalizing each other slightly. I don't know how big of concern it is in the broader sense, but we had Zendikar Rising, new set, new standard, but it was completely overshadowed by Commander Legends. Like, everyone kind of just hopped on that train and geeked out on Commander stuff. Maybe those players never would have played Standard at all. But I do feel like Zendikar Rising was overshadowed a bit. We just have so many products now. It's hard to keep up. We're perpetually in spoiler season. Like, you don't even have time to play the Commander Legends cards, right? You're like, oh, what's coming out next, right? Like, what broken green or whatever cards are coming, right? Like, and you're already on to the next thing. So yeah, I don't know. Like, the only thing that can tell us is, like, are Magic players spending more money, right? Like, just because they released 8 products this year, if you still only bought 1 like booster box a year, then that effectively did nothing. But because they released 8, if you bought 2, then they doubled their revenue from you, right? Which is a win. So I guess it depends. Are we opening up our wallets and buying more stuff? Or they just keep hitting us with enough stuff and eventually we'll buy it. Like, I didn't buy the first 25 Secret Lairs, but Bob Ross is getting me. So they did it, right?
The 26th
they won,
one.
Right? They eventually got there, right?
Gotcha.
So, yeah, maybe it's fine. But, we meme about 2019 Magic and how it's taken over all the formats. Like, soon enough, 2019 plus we'll have a bigger card pool than like 2018 minus, right? At the rate that we're going here. So it will actually just be normal and expected.
Yeah, I mean, this year it felt like we were always in spoiler mode, right? Like no matter what, it's just spoiler season and then spoiler season and then spoiler season. Oh, and by the way, little product in between.
Yeah, it's like secret layers in the middle of your spoiler seasons.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, we really were. Like, we had so many sets. It didn't just feel like we were always in spoiler season. With this amount of sets, we really were just like pretty much always in spoiler season, talking about our new set because there's so many sets. And I mean, I don't know. Apparently, Wizards is making money with this technique. Everything we hear from Wizards makes it sound like financially they're doing better than ever and making tons of money off of Magic. So apparently this technique is working, and maybe what you were saying about Secret Lair drops, Richard, or the same with me, like I ignored the first 25 of them, but the 26th one got me. Maybe that's a technique. Maybe you just keep throwing them out in the world and you trust that sooner or later people like us will pick up one of them, and maybe Wizards is fine with that because there's going to be someone else who loves Squirrels and that's the only one that they pick up. And if you have a big enough player base doing that, maybe that ends up being more profitable to print a whole bunch of specialty products rather than just a few products for everyone. Although I think we talked about this last year. From a player's perspective, it is a big shift, and it took me a little while to come to grips with the fact that you can't really care about every product anymore. There literally is just too many. It would be your entire life and your entire budget if you wanted to get every single product and every single card and you did care about everything. So I think that's something that players have to adjust to, because even just a couple years ago, you would get, the 4 big sets, maybe you get a master set, 1 round of commander decks. You could actually invest yourself either financially or emotionally in every single product. Now I just don't think that's possible. So I think players need to shift and understand that Wizards' technique is to not make every product for you. They're making every product for someone, but you might not be that someone for every product, and it is perfectly okay to just not care about some Magic products, as weird as that is to say, because a few years ago, I would be saying the opposite, where you almost have to care about every product to stay current with the game because every product was impacting every format and was for a broad audience. But it's really shifted a lot in the past year or two, I think, to you got to be a lot more selective in what you invest yourself in.
I mean, I think that only applies to Secret Lair that are reprints. But like, if you missed out on Commander Legends, you're in for like a rude awakening when you sit down with your playgroup and they're like, Jeweled Lotus, into this, into that, you're dead. You're like, what? I think you still got to keep up with that. Or like, imagine playing Modern, like skipping the last year or two of like products, right? You're going to walk in and get rolled so hard, right? So for those formats, you need to keep up, right? But for Secret Lairs, you can skip them, right? Because they're just promotional copies. Like, you can just get the normal version. That's fine, right? But yeah, I think you do need to keep up with Double Masters, Jumpstart, Commander Legends, and stuff like that. Otherwise, it's going to be a shocker for you.
Even if we discount Secret Lairs altogether and pretend they don't exist, that's still a pretty big list of products to have to keep up on. Like, maybe that's the aspect that is a lot for some people, because I guess you are right. You do need to care about Jumpstart, and you do need to care about Commander Legends, and you'd probably have to care to some extent about like Commander decks because they have unique cards. Even just those sets that have new unique cards and are not reprints, that's still a lot for someone who has, a life outside of Magic, a family or a job or school or whatever you might be doing. That's still a big investment, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, any other thoughts on anything, I guess? Secret Lairs, Magic products in 2020, or is it fish mail time?
I await the article where we figure out how much money you must have to own all Magic products.
It's probably gonna be a week or two until it's up, because one thing that I really want to do in the article is also have a calculation for how much it would be just to get one of each card, counting the fact that, like, I don't know, a random Ikoria rare has like 7 versions, like Godzilla version, all art version, foil, non-foil, extended border version, foil, non-foil, regular version, foil, non-foil. Like, what if you wanted one copy,
box toppers,
of each version of every card printed in 2020? Give me your guess, because I'm going to calculate this. We're going to calculate this and do an article. I have not calculated it at all, so I'm in the dark. If you want one copy of every version, so you got all 6 of your Teferis from Corset 2021 Crim, or whatever it is, 7 different arts or whatever. Yeah. How much do you think it's going to cost? cost when we finally have this big number? Like, how many thousands of dollars to own one of each unique version printed in 2020?
I would say probably over $5,000.
Oh, I think I'm going to go way, I was going to go more like, 15 grand. I think it's going to be way over 5.
Where, like, you think significantly over? I mean, maybe you're right. Cause like every version, there's a lot of printings. So yeah, I could also see that. And maybe I'm definitely like under like valuing how much like every card costs.
I'll go Price is Right. 5,001. No, I think like 10K-ish. I think 10K-ish is about the right number. We'll find out.
we will figure it out. Obviously, it's just for fun because I don't think anyone actually needs that many versions. But it'll be interesting.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think Seth is right. Like if you think, because the foil versions are significantly more expensive, so if you get foils of everything, and then maybe Seth is underestimating it. Okay, well we'll find out. We'll do the math for you, but it's gonna be a lot. And then what we need to do is just rank it with other hobbies like golfing at like 5-star resorts and racing supercars and things like that. We'll see where the Magic hobby.
Are these the hobbies that we're
it's gotta be, right? If your hobby costs like $15,000 a year to do everything.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like I don't know what hobby that would be. Like what hobby costs that much money? I'm sure there's lots of people like you're
constantly buying old cars and tuning them up. I think that's
like coin collecting or something. There's gotta be some weird expensive hobbies out there, but all right, we'll get to that in the future once we actually do the math on it. But for now, Richard, fishmail us.
All right, if you have questions, send them to @MTGGoldfish with the hashtag MTGFishmail, and we'll get to your questions on air. ZC watches, my commander group is getting heated because one member plays stacks, tax, and lock cards. Nath and Zur, Grand Arbiter. Games take hours. My friend becomes the arch enemy almost immediately. We don't have a rule 0, and he loves these awful decks. Karim, would you like to take this one?
I have no idea why I would take this one. I mean, it's weird, right? It's just like that's somebody's play style. I mean, as I've said before, if it were up to me, I would just also say that it feels bad to play against green decks. So I would ask for that to just be banned out of groups. But you know, I don't know. It's kind of just hard to say because like it is somebody's play style, right? And that is, if that's what they like, then that's what they like. So I don't know. How do you go about that? Like,
I don't know what the answer to that is, honestly. Like, I don't know. Can you talk to your friend nicely and explain that you're not having fun? Like, what do you do when someone is just full force on a playstyle that no one else in the playgroup enjoys?
I think you just got to change it, right? Because like, so what happens is they become the arch enemy. I don't think that's fun for them.
Well, they have to be okay with that.
If they're
right?
fine with being the arch enemy, then I don't know what you can do about it, right? But if they're not fine with it, then it's like no one's having a good time, right? So you need to mix it up somehow. But I don't know, like his deck must be really good. Like if everyone just gangs up on this person, why does the game still take hours? You can't get enough lock pieces down. But I don't know. If you have a recurring group, I think that's something you need to figure out. Or maybe you swap decks. So that they get to play against the stacks decks and they get to see how they can't play any of their cards. Or, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, I think you just got to work it out. I think other play groups do it differently. Like, some people will just ban the card. Some people will be like, okay, you can play it every other week. Other people will be like, yeah, play it, but we're just going to murder you first if you're okay with that. Right? So, really depends on your group.
Yeah, like, that would be the only thing, right? Like, because, I mean, I feel like when I play my control decks and stuff like that, I fully expect to be arch enemy, right? Like, so that's fine. Now it'd be a different story if they're like, hold on, I'm playing stacks and I don't know why somebody hit me or somebody killed me, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I fully know that I'm going to get hit when I play like any of my control decks or anything along those lines.
Or you metagame.
Also,
I mean, all of my decks start with Boseiju and Cavern. right? If I feel
right,
like I have one spell that needs to resolve, and I know I'm playing with Crimp, like Boseiju and Cavern are going in my deck at like very little cost. It's not as bad as say like maybe you play like a Rest in Peace or something and like totally hose someone. Like I'm sure there are cards that can totally hose the Stacks deck.
Yeah, I mean more artifact hate, more enchantment hate, maybe depending on what the specific build is. But I guess that would be the other option is just kind of like subtly warp your deck a little bit to fight the Stacks player, and maybe if you I don't know, blow up enough Stacks pieces, they'll change to a different deck because they're not getting the enjoyment out of locking people out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, after some point, right? Like, example, if they get targeted enough and they are tired of Arch Enemy, then they probably should also just then switch, right? But if they're okay with it, then have fun. I guess
keep killing them first.
Yeah, that's my advice. Go for them first.
Yeah, that's when you switch your deck into like a Zergo deck and then go nuts, right? The Bryce is right. If Wizards did foil treatment on both sides of the card, would that fix the issues players see with curling?
So we like even out the...
I mean, isn't that essentially what's wrong with the card, right? Like one side is coated in the foiling process, the other side is not. So then they evaporate moisture at a different rate and the thing curls, right?
I guess the concern would be, do you think that would make foils less playable competitively? Because then aren't they going to be more noticeably different than non-foils if you have 2 layers of foiling on them?
2 layers of foiling. That sounds pretty wild.
Can't you already tell when you're holding a foil versus a non-foil?
I mean, yeah, you pretty much can.
Like, I don't know. There's this thing, right? So if you play unsleeved, this is not doable, right? Because you can tell what that card is. But realistically, like, how much does that happen? And do casual players, like, really care about this, right? If you're playing with cards unsleeved. But I don't know. I think this is a constraint that actually affects their foils. Like, other card games have, like, really nice looking foils, right? Or collectible cards have really nice foils. Magic foils look kind of meh because they got to make the card feel and weigh the same as like a normal card so that you don't get a competitive advantage. So I think they're kind of stuck. I don't think you can foil both sides. I think the card will be too heavy. I don't know. Say stuff. Often I think as a community, we could enact real change in the game. Do you know a way we can unite more easily? I don't know about the arena economy, but I'm certain we can get macros on the dev team's to-do list.
Macros? Specific, like
I think like maybe
macros?
to do like a combo or something, right? You want to like just save some sequence.
Jeez. Like, I think it's actually tough because the Magic community is pretty scattered, a lot more scattered than people probably realize. Part of what makes Magic great is there's like so many different ways to play it. And the stuff that really matters to some people, other people don't care. Like if you're a paper commander player, what do you care about what Arena's doing or whatever? And there are plenty of people that are just paper commander players. So I don't know, because of the way Magic works as a game, and it's really a whole bunch of different games brought together under the name of Magic, it's really hard to get the entire community to all agree on something outside of, I guess, Walking Dead Secret Lair drops. That's the one exception to that rule where the entire community seemed to be on board.
The entire online community.
Yes, I'm sure there were tons of people that still have no idea Walking Dead Secret Lair was even a thing. Like, probably most of the people who count as Magic players don't even know it exists.
Next question. Gregory Emmon. Last week, y'all talked about Mega Exile. I'd like to raise you with the unhinged card AWOL. What does AWOL do? Do you guys know?
Ooh,
Is that Mega Exile?
Do not.
Yeah, there might already be an uncard that exists for that.
Oh, I need to look it up real quick. Let's see what AWOL does. Exile target attacking creature, then remove from the game, then put it in the absolutely removed from the freaking game forever zone. Yep.
Okay, yeah, it basically does exist.
Okay.
Yep.
Also, did anyone go back and look at your predictions for episode 200? By 300, you predicted Pioneer, Modern Horizons 1, and were worried Modern Horizons 1 would break the format. Hogak.
Ooh.
We're geniuses.
Maybe that would be a good episode sometime over this slow holiday period. Maybe we go back on our old predictions and see how we did. That would be kind of fun.
I was thinking.
Wait, I don't even remember what, like, yeah, so what did we say?
We
Like,
predicted Pioneer, Modern Horizons
Okay.
1. So a direct to modern set, right? A post modern set. And then the direct to modern set would probably break the format.
and
Yeah.
it did.
I'm sure we predicted other things, but I do not remember. Episode 200 was a long time ago now.
All right. We should we should revisit some predictions, and we should also, before the year ends, predict what Magic will be like next year.
Ooh. Yeah, that would be... Well, we have some fun episodes, because I think it's probably going to be a slow time, honestly, through the holiday season. Usually this is kind of like the dead time on the calendar until after the first of the year, when we'll jump back into end of the spoiler season and stuff. But this will be our time to do some fun episodes like that, so we should definitely do it.
All right. And that's all the fish mail we have for this week. Thank you to everyone who sent in fish mail. If you have questions, send them to @MTGGoldfish with the hashtag MTGFishmail, and we'll get to your questions on air.
And I believe that brings us to the end of episode 305 of the MTG Goldfish podcast. So Richard Cribb, thanks for hanging out. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to Card Conduit for supporting the show. And we will be back next week to talk about whatever goes down in the world of Magic. So until then, have a great week, everyone. And this is the crew signing out.